guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be wrapping the A and B pillar trims in fabric. And so, I bought some fabric. If you take a look, I bought some fabric from Amazon. It is foam backed and fully black. And I'm going to attempt to glue it onto the surfaces and to do a good job. So that is the plan. With this fabric also came this automotive headliner adhesive, heavy duty. I have done stuff like this before. I've changed the color of the upper interior trim in my cars before, but I have never had such a material before. This material is a little bit stretchy. Not too stretchy, but it will contour to curves such as these. And yeah, I'm excited to use it. And so what my game plan is to take these in the sink, give them a nice wash with the rough side of the sponge, make sure they're fully dry, and then I will take this party outside and begin spraying and applying this spray. But traditionally, the hardest parts of doing things like this is these corners right here, where you have to bend the fabric around this corner and secure it in place. And I guess another reason I'm doing this is that I really like fabric on these pieces. Let me take you guys to my Audi S8. If I take you guys into my Audi S8, if you look, I mean, the headliner in this car, and I apologize, it's difficult to see, but the headliner and all of the upper pieces are all Alcantara, and I really like the way this looks. So, obviously we're not using Alcantara in the Tiguan, but we will use fabric, and it should, I'm hoping that it comes out something like this, a nice uniform material. So let's get to it. We will take a look and see. Hey guys, so we're getting ready to begin the application process of this onto this. And so what I'm gonna do as one final step is I'm just gonna rub it through with acetone just to hopefully open up the pores of the plastic, give it its final clean. I'm going to especially focus on the edges. Do my best not to touch anything. So we're going to use this stuff. I don't know, I've never used it before, but Permatex is a known brand. I guess we'll see. We'll just follow the directions. So the directions call for 2 to 3 coats of this glue, and then wait a couple minutes to make it tacky, and then apply it. So well, that looks pretty damn good. I'm gonna trim off the edges and release some tension. But that's a good looking piece. So, first one down, 4 more to go. Let's get to it. guys, and welcome back. And as you guys have seen, we've been rewrapping the interior pieces in a black fabric, and we're going to be doing the same thing to the headliner. And so if you take a look right here, this is the headliner. And I figured the garage is the best place to do this. I think this should be okay. And so essentially the first step here is to remove the original fabric. And again, let me show you guys what we're dealing with. You see these creases? That was from the airbag. They exist basically on both sides. And so really the hope is to not only have a black headliner, but also that it would cover up any of these kind of dirty spots or anything like that. They're just not pretty to look at. And the black will be able to cover that up. And also the black will be able to cover up any creases. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to recover this in a black plastic with the same process I used on the B and C, or A and B pillars. And so we will see how this turns out. Hopefully it turns out okay. My biggest question is going to be, can the fabric wrap around tight spaces like these? So that remains to be seen, but for now what we're going to do is we're going to start removing, I've already started, but we're going to remove the fabric. So yeah, let me put you guys up on time lapse and let's do it. Here we are. It is wrapped. I'm gonna let it dry. I've already cut out some of the tension points, such as the C and D pillars, just making sure that the material lays and dries flat. I've gone over mostly everything. And if you take a look, we're looking not too bad. A couple sore spots. If you look right over there, there's some creases over there. So yeah, that's not ideal. But honestly, guys, I think it's turning out all right. Let's walk around here. Yeah, I mean, not too bad. You can tell right here, there's some unhappiness. But this is going to be covered up with the sun visor anyway. Yeah, not too shabby. Actually, we got another little pain point right here. That's not very pretty, but we can't pull it up anymore. But hey, for DIY, not too shabby. Everything laid down nicely. So yeah, some advice for you guys.
You want to do this outside the car. I've tried to do this inside the car. It never turns out pretty. Another piece of advice as well, if you have a sagging headliner, trying to glue it while it's up there is not only challenging, but I haven't had any success with it. I've even taken a little needle, sprayed some glue in there through the fabric, waited for it, and then kind of stuck it up there. Even tried little board tacks. It never turns out well. So honestly, really the best thing you can do is to remove the headliner. And I realize on cars like that, it's very difficult unless you remove the front or rear windshields. I know. However, on SUVs, on station wagons, where the entire trunk or hatch pops up, it gives you access to be able to remove it all. But yeah, another piece of advice, I got this material here. I actually really like it a lot. It's foam backed. I got it on Amazon. I'll link you guys, but it works really well. It's decently stretchy, and I find that this stuff sticks really well to the glue. And the other thing as well is make sure you get the proper glue. I'd never used this one before, but it's Permatex, which is a very reputable brand, automotive headliner adhesive. I read the instructions. It basically said to spray it on there, wait a couple minutes for it to tack up. And the reason they tell you to do that is so that you don't soak the material and then try to stick it in, and it'll never look nice, essentially. So you want to give it some time to dry, and then as soon as you put it down, that's basically game over. So you have to be really careful putting this stuff down. If I were to do this again, I think one thing I would have liked to do is have the material on a different table and then transfer it over with two people so that you can do it all at once. I'm saying that now, maybe that's not the case, because since the headliner is curved, you really have to be strategic. So the way I did it is I started in the middle, made a little strip down the middle, and then kind of went corner to corner and then kind of filled in the rest. Again, not super ideal, but that's what I did, and it turned out okay. We'll see when it gets installed in the car, but I'll tell you what, right now we have the lights on. You can see all these imperfections. Once it's in the car, it's going to be very difficult to see the imperfections. They're not going to catch your eye quite like the light-colored headliner. Plus, you know, if you get a little dirt on it, it's not going to be very easy to see. So yeah, guys, I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Once it's fully dried, I'm going to go in there with my final cuts and trims. I might spray some glue on the very edges there to get it to stick, to get the very edges to stick. And then transfer this headliner inside. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I've done this maybe 2 or 3 times. I'm not an expert at it by any means, but it's not that hard. Make sure you get the right materials, the right glue, and really kind of think ahead and plan your stuff. But otherwise, I mean, it goes pretty well. One big piece of advice is try to remove the headliner. If you're gonna reupholster it, try to remove it from the car. Again, it's really, really difficult to do it while it's in the car. But yeah, guys, with that, I'm out. I hope you guys learned something. And hopefully next time you see this headliner, it's gonna be in the car looking fresh. So have a good night, guys. Bye.